Youngest Jake here to check out a blaster that was sent to me for review by Biu Blasters, and that is the Xing Fire Phoenix. Now this is a spring-powered, magazine-fed blaster that is pump action, features a adjustable stock, some metal construction in places, and some pretty heavy-duty injection molding otherwise. Now, this blaster, I'm going to note right off the bat, does come with proprietary mags. You only get one with it, but Biu Blasters sells these for $10 per mag, and it comes in two colors. You have this gray, purple, yellow kind of mixture, as well as a more desert-type tan mixture, which, to be honest, I kind of like the desert tan look a little bit better. The purple seems a little odd. A little odd to mix with the yellow and the red anodized plunger tube, because that is the plunger tube you're seeing there. Now, also, the plunger tube does move around a little bit. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can hear that. If not, it is sliding back and forth. Doesn't mean it has to have a bad seal, but I'm moving it around pretty easily. But let's get back into the blaster. It is mag-fed. They claim a 10-shot capacity in the magazine. I have been able to overload it, but 10 shots what they claim. Listed on their listing on their website. And it does have a nice pump action. With my chronograph, I was actually getting an average of 141.3 feet per second using Adventure Force Pro darts. Adventure Force? Force? Man, sometimes I do have slips of the tongue here. But, hey, it's me. It's what you get. But I use those exclusively for the testing. For my chronograph, for my records purposes, I do fire between 200-300 shots minimum for my chronograph to get my testing. Now, I did use one of the packages of the darts they sent me. They sent me two of these. These are a knockoff of the Adventure Force Pro darts, but I did have a little less consistency with them in both accuracy and velocity. So once I figure out that, hey, I can't rely on these, I move on and I do the rest of my testing with Adventure Force Pro darts, which are kind of a standard dart that everybody has access to and makes it easy as a baseline. So, that said, the rest of the testing was done with them. Now, I was not able, of course, with this muzzle, one thing to note is, if you do look at getting it, without doing modifications, there's no way to slip on a scar barrel of any kind, because this little orange ring, the barrel stops short by, I'd say roughly 1/3 of an inch. So, for those of you out there on the metric system, about 7 or 8 millimeters short of the end of the barrel. You know, it's a little bit complicated. You'd have to redo the muzzle, which, reprint it, and then you can slip on a scar barrel. Now, I say that right off the bat because a lot of people looking at this are looking at it for the performance aspect. You're looking for something that's maybe a little bit beefier than a Nexus Pro. Don't want to spend a fortune on something more like the newer versions of like the Harrier or anything else that's coming out on the market right now. Like, say you want to stay under that $100 mark, because this comes in at a retail of $89.99. Now, we're not going to be able to avoid the price conversation, because something looking identical to this even says Xing on it on Amazon for nearly half. So, normally I keep that discussion to the end of the video, but right off the bat, looks like the exact same blaster is being sold on Amazon for almost half the price. That puts Biu Blaster in a bad spot. So, take or leave it. But I'm going to evaluate it as it was. As it is, pump action, ultra smooth. I mean, this is one of the smoothest stock blasters you're going to ever find. So that is something to note. And that comes from, having metal internals, at least metal priming rods, metal stock, so good sturdy stock. And then you have full anodized plunger tube and barrel. So you have a pretty nice, setup. Very, very little flex. The shell, of course, that also adds into your priming smoothness or lack thereof. If the shell's flexing as you prime, that's going to cause binding, and that's going to come through as feedback of not being smooth. However, this thing is buttery smooth. It feels literally like it's just sliding in grease. So, no complaints in function. The grips are very comfortable. The trigger pull is quite nice. And the mag release is literally right in front of your middle finger. So it's just a flick and out. And it does use a skinny breech. So you can easily remove, top off, or swap mags, even without being primed or with being primed. It's kind of on you, the user. You do it when you feel like it, which, of course, is the benefit of a skinny pusher. But getting into it, I've had zero issues with the blaster. I really haven't. I've had no issues, and I'm pushing close to about 1,000 shots fired through this exact model here. I lose track at like the 800 shot point. But, you know, you got a 10-shot magazine. I filled it for 10, and then I'm able to push past at least about 2 or 3 darts. And when you fired nearly 100 magfuls through it, you're like, okay, I've lost count at that point. But I've had no issues in all that time of using it, and it has performed very, very well. The price point is going to be, the price point and the distributor is going to be where you're left to decide whether you want to buy it from Biu Blasters or not. As you see it now, I hadn't even touched on it, it does come with both these flippable sights, as well as a attachable little green dot. There you go. And it does slide on the full length Picatinny on top. The fact is I quite like the little flip up sights. So I've been running it specifically with these. I just find it to be really easy to use, and during testing I'm plinking at soda cans. These provide me with enough precision that I can hit a soda can from 50 feet away. So no problem there. If you want to use the light up sight, go for it. They provide both. And I didn't check my failure as a reviewer, I didn't check the Amazon version to see if it came with both styles of sights. They could try to pawn off a little bit of the price increase based on the sight inclusion. I did say it comes with an adjustable stock. It has 3 positions. There's outside of full closed, 1 position there, 2nd position there, and 3rd position was the one I had it in. And of course, hey, if you want to run it without a stock, you can go right ahead. And it actually looks pretty good. No real weird, unfinished look to it if you decide just to run and gun. So, the Fire Phoenix. The blaster itself, again, proprietary mag issue. That's always an issue. You have to dedicate buying mags to this blaster. Now, at $10 a mag, that's not a horrible price. So, if you want to go out and buy the blaster and say 6-7 additional mags, that's up to you. Because then you're talking about $10 per. That's another $60-$70, depending on how many mags you deem is necessary. So, $10 a mag. Just keep that in mind. Now, I've seen people say that you can use other mags. This, from what I know, is you're not going to get reliable function otherwise, unless you use this mag, which is, again, it has a very weird size. Due to the printing on here, it says 13 by 50 millimeter. You know that most half-length darts are 36 or 38. So it's set up for that weird 3/4 length size. But again, no feeding issues in using Adventure Force Pro darts throughout my entire testing. So run it as it is. A very reliable setup as it is. The only thing is again, Biu Blasters price. $89.99. $10 mags. You're going to be pushing way up there to the realm of a different whole league of blasters, really. Not that this is anything that's bad. This blaster is perfectly fine. But that's something for you to consider yourself. Good blaster that, fortunately for Biu Blasters, you can get this basically exact blaster for about half the price on Amazon. And I don't know what they can do about that. I really don't. I don't know what Biu Blasters can do about that. I don't know if that's just somebody on Amazon with the purchasing power, or barely making any profit, or his Biu Blasters just making a lot of profit. I don't know. But that's me presenting you the information as honest as I can, because that's going to come down to you. It really is. The blaster itself is as good as can be. I actually really enjoyed it. I could see myself, especially if there's a way to produce a adapter. I don't know how much room you've got to play for an adapter. Maybe like some sort of a sleeve to slide in there so that you can use standard angled Talon mags. Maybe? I don't know. But as it is, solid blaster. At a little bit too high of a price, I think, on Biu Blasters, but it's still a solid offering at 141 feet per second average for mine. So again, pretty solid performer too, and built like an absolute brick. That's what I like. This is Mungus Jake saying thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this.